Hello, Badette Mayor here. I just wanted to pop in really quickly to our Normally Weird community and say hi and give a little bit of an update. I think the last video I did was a moment when I was sitting out on this very deck and extremely stressed out, and in what I now know looking back was the lowest of the lows that I had to go through for my own growth into this Normally Weird journey. And this has been a really, really big transformation for me personally in my life. I've had several different transformative times where I can almost segment this lifetime of mine into segmented lifetimes, and in those lifetimes I've had some massive amounts of growth that has taken me from one to the other. Majority, quite frankly, what I'm realizing as I sit out here and take a moment to myself is that all of the times that I have transformed and kind of switched timelines or switched lifetimes in this very lifetime has always been because of heartache. And transformation has always been has made a huge impact on my life, and I wouldn't have chosen it because I didn't know that I needed it until I had a couple of very pivotal transformational periods in my life that were all stemming from heartache. And those moments when life comes down to your knees, it brings you to your knees, and you think, I can't stay here. I've got to, not using these words all the time, but I've got to figure something out. What I know now is when I get to a point in my life with anything where it's really uncomfortable and I say, I've got to figure something out, it now triggers, I'm needing some transformation. This is the very first transformation, going from what looks like a normal life, living in the suburbs of Austin in what I would consider my dream home up until a couple of months ago. A house built in the trees. We've got 5 different decks that I can sit on at any given time in the day and have some sun and some shade and be in the trees, and have blended a modern family that came together last year in marriage, and it's been messy, it's been beautiful, it's been all the things. And yet this has been the dream that I have always wanted, to live in a healthy, normal family. And when things started to go kind of sideways last year, with 2020 being the year it was, it really put us then in a direction of, we need to figure something out. Because what we unintentionally learned last year was that we have a lot of freedom, and we had opportunities come to us over this year that opened up this freedom and opened up the possibilities of what we have and what we can do and be and have in this lifetime. And we didn't have those possibilities, in March or April of last year. They started to kind of come, and all of a sudden we realized, wait a minute, this normal journey that we have, like we want to be fully weird and be creative and follow these opportunities. And that's what became of this Normally Weird journey, is taking what has been the American dream, that we got to the point where we're like, oh my God, this is just a lot to maintain, and it's not as fun, and we were actually really healthy. So through these opportunities, we've been able to choose transformation. We've been able to choose options that weren't available to us months ago. And in doing so, it has taken a lot of inner work, because what I have also come to realize is when you start living your dream, there are going to be people who try to sabotage it. They'll pull out all the stops. So at the very lowest of lows was when I was still in that phase of this transformation, where I thought that other people had the ability to hold me down or to limit this dream that we were talking about. and at the same time going through the physical work of emptying a house, because we are going on the road. We are traveling to find what it is, we're being led to. And at this point, we don't even know. We just know we're being led out of our comfort zone and into a whole space that is unfolding literally minute by minute as we go, because of the opportunities that are opening up, and because of the connections we're making. They then lead us to something else, and then that leads us to something else, and we are on a rabbit hole of our lives unfolding. And that is so uncomfortable, because we don't have the plan anymore, and we're following these beautiful miracles that keep coming up. And the more that's happening, the more I'm letting go of the belief that anyone has the power to hold us back at this point. And so I'm starting to come alive. We're 10 days away roughly from us literally hitting the road, like shutting the door to the last time of this home in suitcases rather than, moving boxes. We're like getting rid of everything. And when I say getting rid, it hasn't been an easy process, because the things that we brought together as a blended family were the most important things that have come from our previous lives. So the shedding of the skin and the physical skin of the snake is a process, and it has been that for us as well. And really taking time to reminisce to everything that we give away. We look at something and we're just like, wow, and it kind of like takes us back to a time in our lifetime, and we talk about things, we share things, or sometimes we just sit and weep and cry and process things. So it's been an amazing, incredibly deeply intimate journey of shedding, and that has lightened everything up. The whole idea of purging has spiritual meaning, it's got physical meaning, it's got emotional meaning, and we've been purging and purging and purging. And when you get to a point, I've found that the purging finally just stops because you're done. And then what happens is there's this empty space, not empty like we've been taught, like, oh, it's so empty. It's empty for us to fully feel the excitement and the magic that's swirling right now as we meet new connections, and they introduce us to somebody, and that takes us to an opportunity, and we start to see the potentiality coming to life, the potentiality that we have only felt. We're like, we think this is the right decision, but we don't know why. And now these nuggets are starting to show up. That is what this is all about. We had to sit in a lot of tension for a long time, not knowing what this is all about, not knowing where this is going, but holding on to faith. And that tension got real tight, like to the point where I felt like I was going to snap at one point. Probably the last video I did for our community, I felt like I was going to snap, but I held it together. We held it together. Have been a support for each other. It hasn't been pretty, and yet that tension now is starting to reduce because we're getting closer and closer. So it feels as though I feel lighter. I can see the difference in my skin. I wanted, like, as we were purging, I wanted to purge my hair, my husband cut my hair because I couldn't deal with it all on my neck. Everything felt heavy for a little bit. So I've lightened up, and I have physically and mentally, emotionally and spiritually just lightened up and having more fun with it. And I wanted to share all of that because there's very different reasons for transformation, and this time around it is completely chosen. It's completely conscious of a choice to completely disrupt our life so we can expand. And that's been a very different experience for me in my life, considering that transformation always meant like I was on my knees about to die because like something had fallen apart in my life. And this is very different. It still stretched me. It stretched me to limits like I've been before. And yet on the other side, as that tension starts to reduce on the other side of it, it feels so different. It feels really inspiring. And it feels like whatever this becomes on the other side is the start of something so drastically huge in life, because I know if we have done this journey as healthy as we have in mind, body, and spirit, we can choose anything now. Anything that we want in this human life, my family can do it. That's empowering. That's so empowering, and that's so mind expanding. And I'm really curious to see what we choose to do now, because we've bit off a big one this time, and we're healthy as ever. And we've got a pretty big adventure coming, and a lot of things to share that are going to be revealing themselves in the world, but things that we know are coming that are super exciting, and we can't wait to show you all what that is. So thanks for letting me share this journey. It's a big one, and by being vulnerable and sharing all the different stages of it, I get to hear myself talk about it and understand how much work we've done, and also share this process, because I will always be an advocate and always be an alchemist of transformation, because I'm not sure who I am today, but I really, really like her, and it wouldn't have come had transformation not be the lessons I was given this lifetime. And transformation will always be something I choose. From here on out, I will not let life run down until it forces me to transform it. I will let life run itself and choose to transform with it, because that's been the easier journey. Thank you for being here. If you are not part of our Normally Weird community, I invite you to come over to the link in this description and join us. You can support us by just following us and buying us a latte once a month for $5 a month, or you can give us what you'd like. Otherwise, you can just follow us on social media at Vedette Mayer. I welcome you into our community, and look forward to sharing more. That's it. Thanks for being here. Mwah.